how did you become the national coach for judo? That's crazy incredible.
I was running a little dojo here in Berkeley in the East Bay of San Francisco area. And, the students were doing well. And when your students do well on the national stage, you get noticed as a coach. And so I was asked by the coaching staff at the time to join the coaching staff.
So I'm going to stop again.
Sure.
Students just don't do well. It obviously comes from amazing coaching. What do you think you were doing that inspired them, that reverse optic, that inspired them to raise their bar and push beyond what they probably would have done with someone else? What did they see you do?
First of all, I want to acknowledge that the primary person in all of that is the student, right? It's that person, because it's not easy to, when you're getting slammed all the time, it's not easy. You got to be the one to pick yourself up, and no one can pick yourself up for you, right?
Right.
And so number one, it's them. But what I did, to your question, is I was always in the trenches with them. I would, whatever I asked them to do, I would mostly do. Whenever it came to the it's called randori, but the sparring time of judo, I was always there. I'm still there. I can barely walk some days, but once we go on the mat, and if we've got players or people who are just trained to be better, I mean, I'm on the mat with them.
Right.
And so I think that it's being on the mat there, creating the situation where it's just awful for them, but they're growing. But then spending the time later on spending the time and being with them and showing that you care for them as individuals, and not you just want to slam them all the time. I mean, people, if you just want to slam them all the time, no one wants to be there. It's all because you have a relationship, and you got to create that relationship. And I found that creating a relationship starts, number one, on the mat with them, working out with them, sweating with them, dying with them, but then going out and having a pizza later on, and doing that for their lives. I mean, these people are, doing years of judo, that kind of training. And if they're willing to dedicate, I'm willing to dedicate back. And
isn't it amazing that you got to that level because of the behaviors you're now modeling with a combination of your dad and the coach and your family?
Oh, sure.
And that's that arc.
Oh, yeah. There's no question.
They were forged so early on. What a beautiful arc that was.
All
right. So
there's no question about that.
Yeah. So keep going. I'm sorry. So
No.
that's how we got there. All right. So
that's okay.
Let's keep going.
By the way, I love this conversation, because even though you and I were revolving on the circles about behavior analytics and interviewing and interrogation, here we are talking about judo, which is great, but
because think about it. It all revolves around the same thing. We're talking about all the behaviors that inspired the behavior, inspired the choices we make in life, which is
no question
life. Because most importantly, it's so enjoyable. And I think inspirational to people, at least it is to me, when you see someone as accomplished as you. I mean, Olympic coach, world-renowned nonverbal expert, PhD, obviously a great human being that people would love to have in their lives. That arc started somewhere, and sure. It's a place that we all can be. Yeah. And something that we can all achieve if we know, all right, things in my life are going in this direction. All I have to do is shift the rudder a little bit over here,
sure,
and it can go another direction.
Oh, yeah. It comes back all to those relationships. I hate to use the cliche, your moniker is a cliche, but forged by trust through all those difficulties and good times. I mean, it's just
right.
Being there, like you said, unconditionally for people. And I was fortunate enough to be asked to be part of the coaching staff in 1989. And, as you know, you do tours and you go around, you take athletes to various teams. And in 1990, and my students are doing well. In 1993, I was part of the national coaching staff, and I actually was asked to become the chairman of the coaching staff because there's vacancies and whatnot. And 96, because I was the chairman of the coaching staff, in 96, I was the head coach and the team leader for our Olympic team, et cetera, et cetera. I mean,
I could take forever going down each one. Just really quickly, why do you think they chose you? There's a lot of people competing for these positions. What are people seeing throughout their lives when they see you?
Well, they can trust that of what they see, because I am what I am, and I'll speak my mind. And I'll give you an example. Like if you're in the judo world and And I hate to say it, but you can kind of tell whether a player is going to make a certain achievement or not in the next year or in the next half year. And then so I was okay with saying no to a lot of people and to a lot of people about a lot of things, and saying yes when I meant it. And so, and when I say what I mean and I mean what I say, and I follow it up with whatever actions, whether it's training plans, policies, programs, or whatever that was. And I think it's just being that consistent and true to
Yeah.
yourself and true to my thoughts that perhaps people saw that that allowed me to. You're right. I mean, you got to get voted in
Right.
over a competition to get a slot
You're
for a
forging
coaching.
great, forging great, healthy relationships by
Yes,
dropping loving truth bombs along the way.